Yes.
Okay, see that we're ready to go. Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. The January 4th, 2021 council meeting is called to order. We had an executive session just prior to this meeting dealing with some personnel issues. We'd like to have a pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag
to
of
the flag
the United States of America,
America,
to the
and to
republic
the
republic for
which
which it
it
stands,
stands, one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Brackbill,
Here.
Ms. Cleaton is excused at the moment. Ms. Thompson is also excused. There's a power outage in town. Mr. Eaton,
Here.
Ms. Homboski,
Present.
Mr. Johnson,
Present.
Mr. Prendergast,
I'm here.
Ms. Tosti Vasey,
I'm here.
Ms. Walker,
Here,
Mayor Wilson.
Present.
Thank you.
First item on the agenda is approval of minutes. We need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of December 21st, 2020.
Randy?
I'll second. Eaton
Was
will
that-
second.
Eaton, okay. Any changes? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? So moved. Consent agenda, everything in the consent agenda is supposed to be in written communications, so ignore written consent agenda, move down to written communications. And Ralph, do you want to start off?
Sure. Under written communications, there's a note about the Quaker Cemetery up on South Spring Street or actually in Spring Township. And there's concerns from residents, and we were copied in on emails going back and forth about the general deteriorating condition. I know Borough Council has voiced concerns, similar concerns. I think about 2 years or so ago. 3 years, okay, thank you. The main wall collapsed on the south side. And at that time, we dealt with a representative, I believe from the Baltimore Friends Group Church. And they were looking at insurance funds. They were looking at, finding funds to restore the wall, and the funds were not available. So the wall was cleaned up basically, but nothing has been rebuilt. It's all private. It's a private cemetery. To date, to the best of my knowledge, no public funds have been used, to do anything other than, maybe set up a barricade or something on the street that's right next to the cemetery wall. But, it's like the Union Cemetery or the nearby Jewish cemetery. There's the cemeteries are somewhat neglected, and they're looking for ways to improve the maintenance and upkeep of these properties.
What happens when it does go belly up?
Well,
Obviously they're not finding funds and they're not keeping the place up.
That's an excellent question. That it is a concern with at least the Union Cemetery. I don't know if this cemetery has a different status than like the Union Cemetery or not. But I think under the borough code, if a cemetery does go under, the borough may ultimately be stuck with, finding some way of cutting the grass or whatever, just like an abandoned property.
The problem with this particular resting places, which is what the Quakers call it, is that part of it is in Spring Township, which is where the wall has completely collapsed, and the rest of it is in the borough. The as I understand from 3 years ago, there is a trust fund out of M&T Bank. We don't know, and I don't know how, whether Spring Township has been informed of the problem. I know that all the people that have been riding back and forth over the last week have all been borough residents. So I don't know if we should just ask them to to find out if Spring Township is aware of the problem. We've been putting barriers up to try to keep people out, but with the wall collapse now, that's actually a big safety hazard. Tom, you went out there to look at it. Can you give a little bit more information? You're muted, Tom.
I think the main problem is the hill that it sits on. Obviously, it's right beside the road, and with there's not a lot of traffic on that road, but every time somebody goes across there with a vehicle, there's some motion. Then you have the freeze thaw factor that is the demise of many stone walls in the area. But the problem is the base is not substantial enough to hold the brick wall. It keeps eroding, and then as a result, the wall collapses because it doesn't have a good foundation. Even if the wall was removed from one end to the other and a fence, as was suggested, was put up, like a wrought iron fence or something along that line that would look kind of nice, but still, not be real expensive. You would still have to reinforce that the hill underneath there. There would have to be probably, I don't know if you could do it with dirt or if you'd have to do it with concrete, but I'm not an engineer, but just looking at it and trying to use some common sense, that would be probably the largest dealing is reinforcing that bank. So, and I've talked with some of the people that are in this State College Quakers organization, and they've been dealing with this for about 10 years. And apparently there's I don't know what it is. It's not like all for one and one for all. It's like, this is our branch and that's not our branch down there to worry about. So they're not all in this together.
Well, the point is, it's going to end up in our laps and
Not really.
money.
I mean, it can end up in our laps, but I think if we are diligent enough to get the word out, someone or some organization may step forward. I mean, I think the first step is to let Spring Township know that this has become a concern in the area and see what their response is, and then sort of go off of their lead. I don't think it's really our responsibility. I know it's within the borough, but it's a private property.
Well, it's private property and it's in Spring Township. How about if we just cede the whole plot to Spring Township and let them deal with it?
Yeah, we'll trade them some land.
I don't care. I think we should just give it to them.
Yes, Randy.
It seems like there's a group that's involved with trying to get a hold of somebody in the Baltimore area. I don't know. I'm just looking at notes from Gary and on the information that came out from, I guess, the chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Different emails going back and forth on that. I agree. I don't think at this point Bellefonte has anything in on this other than the safety concerns.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we should be writing a similar letter to get them involved in this and determine what they can do before we worry about putting our folks or our money into this at this point.
Right. Yeah, I think we let it play out. We gather some more information and then decide what to do. I don't think we need to spend any more time on this issue.
If there's issues with the wall where it becomes in the borough 3-foot area, right away, then we could probably put some type of fencing in to keep people away from that. or to at least keep it from collapsing out
So,
rather than in.
related to this, there was something in Gary's email, I think, talking about codes enforcement. I don't know if they would have any control because this has become a safety issue.
It's all in Spring Township, so. it's
Right,
up-
I know it wouldn't be our codes enforcement, whoever their code enforcement person is. That might be something to ask when you contact
Sure.
Spring to see if they know what's going on. Because if you look at those pictures that Gary sent, it looks rather dangerous at this point because it is up on a hill and people could fall down that rubble and get hurt.
Yeah, I'm
Concern
happy
is
to
whether they
write
do
Spring
tours
Township a letter.
Okay, go ahead, Doug.
Real quickly, I know most of the cemetery runs east and west, and it's not very wide north and south. Ralph, do you know where the property line for Bellefonte Borough and the township is?
Well, I did a couple of years ago when we were looking at this, but I don't recall right offhand. I can do a little bit of research, but I think the majority of the cemetery is in Spring Township.
And the wall that's bad is definitely all in
Definitely
Spring.
in Spring, right?
So the road is Spring Township also?
Yes, the one that wraps around the top part of the cemetery.
Do we plow it or do they?
I don't think we do.
That was my question.
Okay.
The challenge going back isn't the code issue. We've dealt with this before on the wall parts of the wall that fell that were in Bellefonte Borough. The issue isn't the issue is finding the right people to talk to. We dug for many, many months to find this trust. And we forwarded that email to Gary so that he could, track this down. But that was where the real trouble was. It was getting the trust, finding the money, and then having those folks that are responsible to get somebody to fix the wall.
Yeah, and basically what they did everything you're talking about, and all they did was clean up the rubble after the wall fell 3 years or so ago.
Yeah, the one incident I'm talking about was probably about 10 years. This is like the third time it's happened.
Yeah,
So
But-
really then our harb doesn't have anything to do with it.
no,
They can repair it any way they want.
Yep.
correct.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, we'll move on to the RA cap thing, Don.
Well, this was an email, I think that was just forwarded to us that Pennsylvania Governor's Office sent out the 2021 redevelopment assistance capital projects, and the waterfront project, as you all know, they got additional funding. I believe it's for the parking garage portion of their project. They got an additional $2 million. They requested $3 million and received $2 million. So all in all now, I think they're sitting at about $3.5 million in Rsvp funding.
I did talk to Mr. Songer today. He actually has COVID. He's been in and out of the hospital. He went in for a hip pain and ended up getting COVID when he was there. So he said he's, probably another couple weeks before he's really back on his feet. But anyway, he was in generally good spirits about the project and about getting work started over there despite the economy and everything. He's changing things a little bit. He's still going to plan on a hotel, probably a smaller number of rooms and more condominiums that people could buy. But he, at some point he wants to talk to us about his plans and all of that and give us an update. So when it's appropriate, we'll do some kind of a workshop with him and get his latest plans. But I wanted you to know I did speak with him, and he's generally still on board with moving forward.
Okay. Any questions? Seeing none, does anybody have any oral communications you want to report? Seeing none. Mayor, it's your turn.
Yeah, thank you. The only thing I'd just like to thank the borough crew for the snow cleanup. I know it was a big snow. I know it was a large project, and I know that they worked through the night to move snow out of town. We did have some people complain a little bit about the sound and you know the noise and all that kind of thing. But I thought they did a very very good job. Also, want to thank people for not parking on the streets during bad weather. Done a pretty good job. I get a good look at that whole one section of the T, and there hasn't been a car out there. A couple nights, maybe one or two cars. One might have been mine, but the rest of it has been pretty well taken care of, and the residents have been very cooperative. I really don't have anything else. I just want to report that I did talk to Sean. Sean's having some health issues right for today, so we do have a power outage. I did call the police to go down, and they got the fire police to go down and do some traffic directing down on Allegheny Street and Bishop Street at that light, because that light is out. I don't think they're down there now, but that went out around 4:30, so we sent them down to do, you know, after work traffic. I don't know if the power's back on there in the South Ward or not. But anyhow, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, kitty cat.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Tom,
Yes, sir.
was there, you gonna mention anything about the fireworks over the 4th of July, or the New Year's?
Yeah.
No, because that's a legal holiday to explode things.
Not illegal fireworks and not 20 feet from houses. And the Bellefonte Borough Police did not respond to a call, at least one call
Is that
that I
right?
know of.
Well, I heard some pretty big booms. I didn't see any
I
area.
saw the big booms.
Yeah.
They were at the corner, and I reported it exactly at exact location, the corner of Burroughs and Spring, and a half hour later, nobody had shown up.
And what night was that? Was,
No,
was,
New Year's Eve.
Eve.
was that a Thursday or what day?
Yes,
That was
Thursday.
Thursday night.
All right. Well, I will ask about that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Mike.
and
I heard some in the alley right behind me, New Year's Day. And
I'd
they
like to talk to you specifically, Tom, if we could get together sometime.
Oh yeah, because I'd like to find out. I just thought about this the other day. I wonder where we are with our. What did we finally decide on the fireworks ordinance? We're going to just go back to the state, whatever the state law is.
Is the state, and the only place that technically by state law that you could do them are out in the new developments in the edge of town. Here downtown in the historic area, there's not enough space to do them. So anything that was done here in town, downtown, was violated the state law.
Well, Mike, I'll have to see what our police staffing was for New Year's Eve.
That's fine, but I want to talk to you about it.
Yeah, well,
Give me
I'm on your team.
I know. Give me a call sometime and we'll give it
Very
some
good.
discussion.
All right, thank you.
Anything else or questions for the mayor? Seeing none, it's my turn. And I only have one very quick update. This morning, the state updated the COVID-19 mitigation measures that is now allowing limited in-room dining at restaurants. And depending on whether you've self-certified, you can either have 25 or 50% in-person dining. The rest of the mandates went back to the orders that were announced on November 23rd, and we have posted these changes on our website and the borough's Facebook page. So if you want to learn more about it, go to bellefonte.net and look under the COVID-19 section of the website.
Very good.
Any questions? Okay, moving on, building and property.
there's a permit update, and apparently Don.
If I will give everyone an update on where we are with the parking permits. We're working with the 2 new parking enforcement officers and some staff upstairs that deal with parking permits. we were able to establish the purchase of parking permits on our website. That's at www.bellefonte.net. So anyone now that wants to purchase a parking permit for one of our municipal lots, the north lot, the west lot, or the south lot, can purchase the permits online. The first month, if someone has an existing permit, wait until your day that it actually expires, because the first month the system will automatically prorate the cost of the parking permit, and then beginning in February 1st, then everyone will have to purchase their permits on that same day. In addition, we also have online the on-street parking. That would be for resident, commuter, and commuter parking permits. They are there, but they do not take effect until March the 1st. Anyone that purchases them now, they would just have them for that first month in March. We still have to get together. Ralph and I have to get together with Matt and talk about a timeline for the removal of the red parking meters and the installation of the signs. But at least where we are now, and given the fact that the boroughs have been kind of closed and so forth, this has been one of the big issues, is the parking permits. So the fact that if you have a credit card, you can go online and purchase your parking permits for the parking lots. I did want to tell council one thing. A couple weeks ago, council worked with us to establish a criteria for the number of parking permits in each lot. Not knowing the numbers at that point, subsequently found out in the south lot, that would be the waffle shop, we currently have 34 parking permits issued there. That's probably about 56% of the lot. Knowing that council has established 33% parking permits, we'll try to, over the year, work our way back down to that as people go off and work with the system that we have. But we got a couple people that have already tried it. We have to do it internally yet, use our own credit card and establish it and make sure that it works. We'll do that this week with our enforcement officers, but right now everything seems to be working pretty well, and we're actually glad that we were able to accomplish that.
So Don, you said that the south lot is over contracted with permits. What about the other two? Where are they at?
They were both under 33%. I couldn't give you the exact numbers off the top of my head. I can get that information for the next meeting. I believe the CVS lot, there were, I think we have it established that the number that you're allowed is 12, and I think we were maybe at 8 or something like that at this point.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Very nice, Dawn. Good work.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none. Finance and government performance. Gina's still not here. Does anybody have any follow-up on that for that committee?
John, do we have a meeting this week at Thursday? Or Dawn or Ralph?
I don't think we established those committee meetings because obviously we were working on the budget, getting that ready for final approval. I personally don't know of any need to have any meetings at this point in time.
I was under the assumption we were doing a standing meeting, and Gina wanted to continue that, but I'm fine with it. I'll wait to hear of a notice.
I wouldn't know exactly what the need is, but certainly we're open to it if we hear from Gina.
Okay, so if Gina says so, let us know.
Okay.
Thank you, Ralph.
Sure.
Okay. Moving on then to Parks and Rec, Melissa.
We have a meeting scheduled for 1/12/21 this next week. And I believe Don has an update on the pedestrian bridge.
Finally, the pedestrian bridge is clear and open to walk through. There's 2 open fences, one on each end that's still being fabricated. And then in addition, the handrail that's gonna sit on top of the actual bridge. They've got to do that. I talked to Bud Williams last week, trying to push him. I told him that I really want to get this finalized so that, more importantly, I can absolve ourselves of the CDBG dollars, pay him, and get these contract years knocked out. So he's pushing his subcontractor to fabricate those two items. In the meantime, I noticed I was down there walking around this past weekend. There were a lot of people using it, so it was good to see.
Good.
We tried it
Thanks so
out
much,
today.
Don.
We tried it out today. It was great. Even with the little bit of snow and ice that was on it, the fabric that the walkway is on helps make it easier to walk on than the suspension bridge, because we tried both of them.
We owe council a debt of gratitude for choosing that particular material. I think that was a very good choice for the borough. It looks nice, and it's gonna hold up for 50 years. So
My dog is terrified of it.
Oh,
It's super. It's really nice.
It is.
Thanks for your hard work on that, Don.
Appreciate
Great
it.
job.
thank you, Melissa.
Okay. Any other things for Park and Rec? Seeing none, moving on.
Oh,
Did
wait,
you-
Joanne, I
Yeah.
wanted to say on that, I brought it up, the last meeting about snow removal, and we had the 17 or 18 inches of snow. And you know what? Our borough staff got down there and cleared that area. I'm really proud of them. They got to fit it in. It was great. So I really, if you would tell Mr. Allman, thanks for doing that. I know it's extra effort on his crew, but I'm sure all council agrees. We really appreciate that, what he did.
I'll pass that on. Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you, Ralph.
he did a fabulous job. Didn't use too much salt.
Well, since Doug brought that up, part of the Parks and Rec meeting next week was supposed to talk about volunteer snow removal. Do we still need to have that on the agenda?
I think it was one of the items we said we would have
Yeah.
a committee meeting about. Yeah, because we did it, and that was like the 4th or 5th day after the storm. I think, what we would like to do is hopefully have some volunteers to do it as soon as the snow stops. Get out there with some snow blowers and get it cleared.
I would add on that when we did do it, we still had our full staff. I hate to say this, but now we're down to one person on the streets department for the next couple months. So that we're in dire straits there. So yeah, I think we should keep it on the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Joanne, what, are the county inmates permitted to help in those volunteer efforts?
They are, Doug, but not during the COVID time. We haven't been able to get volunteers since this whole year, really.
Okay,
I
thank
think there's some possibility, Doug, but the timing of things, I don't know how fast they could be there or how often. I did notice they helped hang the decorations in town for Victorian Christmas. So they must have got some permission to help with that.
Okay,
Okay.
just something for the committee to consider. Or
Yes.
contacting to see if that might be available.
Thanks, Doug. Anything else for Parks and Rec? Not? John, Human Resources.
Okay, we'll have a committee meeting on the 6th at 10 a.m. To consider the vacancy in the nuisance code position. And then I'm also going to make a motion to accept the new ordinance related to our employee retirement plans. These will be the defined benefit and cash balance plan. There needs to be an ordinance so that to enact them properly according to borough code.
Do we have, before I ask for a second, do we have an ordinance number to put into the record?
you can use 01042021.
-01.
-01.
You're welcome.
I will second that motion.
Okay. Johnson. Discussion?
I just want to say to anyone listening, this is not much new in the pension plan documents. It's something that the pension administrator, Pennsylvania Municipal Retirement System, has asked us to do, like about every 5 or 6 years, to keep the plans, all their plans, IRS compliant. And we're learning that a lot of the language was already in our documents, but we're doing it for IRS compliancy more than anything. So,
Any other discussion? Go ahead, Doug.
I brought this up before, and I think it's up to our manager and assistant manager to go. They need more work, is what I'm saying. That they don't have enough to do. So, as I said in the employees handbook, all vacancies, other vacancies except for the assistant borough manager and the manager, the borough manager may request assistance from the council personnel committee. All other vacancies will be filled at the discretion of the borough manager. So, your HR committee members are busy, our managers are busy. I'd like to see Ralph and Dawn do this process and then make a recommendation to HR, unless Ralph prefers to have the HR committee to meet as one unit and then go from there. But I think our managers and assistant managers are doing their job, and I think it's part of their job, their task to do. So I don't see a need for the HR people to tell our managers what to look for or who would be the best person. So,
Doug, that's I appreciate your comments. However, what we're talking about is a motion to accept the pension ordinance.
I'm sorry, I thought you were asking for other comments. I apologize.
No, we're still on that vote.
I go yay, yes.
Any other comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion for ordinance number 0104-2021-01, say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? So moved. John, anything else?
No, that's all that I have for the HR committee. Doug has a comment.
Do you want to say anything else, Doug?
No, I'll let it up to our manager and assistant manager at this point.
Okay.
That's what they're tasked to do. So,
this is probably a discussion for another time, but I serve all of council. I serve the majority of council. So whatever the majority decides, I'm good with.
I mean, I'm Ralph. I'm happy with having the meeting so that you and Don can apprise us with what your plan is.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's where we're standing with the HR effort on this task.
Excellent.
Okay. So moving on then, Randy, safety?
Yep. Just a reminder to council members to RSVP for the Center County Emergency Management Plan. It's being held this Thursday. There's 2 times. I think it's 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. and then 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. You should have received an email. I think today I received a follow-up email, and I responded to that email and got a very quick response that I got in for 2 to 3. So it's pretty easy to sign up for. It's just matter if you have the time to set it. And they pretty much keep it an hour.
Okay, Randy, I have a question. On our agenda, the item on our agenda says for January 7th, and 8, but you're saying it's 7 to 8.
It's 2 to 3 and 7 to 8. There's
All right.
two classes that are the same.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? FYI, I'm signed up for the 7 o'clock one.
And that's all I have.
Okay. Moving on then to water and sanitation, Doug?
We have a authority meeting tomorrow night at 6 p.m. You're all invited to attend via Zoom. Also today we received a proposal about 4:30 p.m. I'm gonna give the floor to Mr. Stewart because I have not read the proposal, but I was explained a little bit about it. But I'll let Mr. Stewart take it from here, if he would, please.
1 second here.
I know we're looking for council to tentatively or conditionally approve a resolution that we're proposing at this time.
Yes. It's on the water agreement with Coca-Cola. 1 second, please. Basically, if what I'm suggesting, if council could conditionally approve the resolution, and the authority is going to look at a similar resolution tomorrow evening. And I know you haven't seen it. That's what makes it difficult. So I'm asking you to approve a resolution that basically states that the agreement, there's a settlement agreement with Coca-Cola in place, and the authority, who has been working with the primary attorney and working on the particulars of the agreement since about the summertime of 2020, has more details, but they're going to go over the agreement in detail before they approve their resolution. So the thing that I think would be most prudent is if the borough approves this resolution conditionally upon the authority approving their resolution, which is nearly identical. It just has their name instead of the borough council. And then finally, if you still have some, have some issues with approving it, we can make it conditional upon the borough solicitor approval, because the borough solicitor has been involved in working out this settlement agreement.
Okay, so we would need a motion to conditionally approve Resolution 0104 2021-02, going with what Ralph just said on the earlier one. Conditionally approving based on the Water Authority's agreement to their similar resolution and agreement by our solicitor. That way we've got all our everything dotted and crossed.
Right.
I will make the motion, Madam President.
Okay.
Seconded.
Johnson and Prendergast.
Okay, thank you.
Discussion? Seeing none?
We will keep council fully appraised of what's going on with it.
I sure hope so.
Thank you, Doug.
Looks like Deb's joining us.
Okay. We'll hold on and tell her where we're at so she can vote. Deb, are you on? Hi, Deb.
Aye.
We're just getting ready to vote on a conditional motion to approve the bottling contract. The condition is having the Water Authority also agree to it and have our solicitor agree to it.
Okay.
So, are we ready to vote?
Please, will ever be.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
That completes my report, Madam President.
Great. Any questions for Doug? Seeing none, moving on to streets. Deb, you're just in time.
Just like magic. The note here is about letters to go out by January 8th regarding the trailer removal per revised ordinance. And that's all the information I have about that.
Our goal, Deb, is that, as everyone remembers, the trailer ordinance that council approved a few months ago, we're going to try to get around, make some trips around the borough this week, and get some addresses and get some letters out. The goal is to have it done by this Friday. That's where we are with it.
Okay, and would these initial letters just be informational for the vehicle owners that things have changed and they need to move them?
Yes, they'll be given probably 30 days or 45 days, most likely 30 days to do something.
Okay.
You know, I recently helped with doing some water meter readings. We do it by a vehicle and reading electronically. And I did notice a lot of campers and camper paved spots next to houses or in front of houses. I think we're going to have a number of people upset that, you know, we're going in this direction. I just want you to be aware, you know, there's probably more than we realize that this is going to affect. Not to say we shouldn't stop here, but it might end up, we might be giving them some more time to find a new location. But I just want you to be aware, there's a lot of spaces out there, a lot of campers and those kinds of vehicles, boats and things that are out there in the front right of way or front yard or front setback area of people's properties.
Well, I imagine that there's going to be an educational rollout on this, that it will just be a matter of things working into everybody getting on board with it.
Yes, it's like the right of way up there on Armour, you know, we dealt with. We try to give them a first educational letter and then step it up from there. So I think we'll follow the same plan.
Okay, thank you. And that's all I have.
Any questions for Deb? Seeing none, we're moving right on to energy and environmental conservation. Mike, I think you've got the longest report of the evening.
I do believe I do. We need to make a motion. Let me pull up my little cheat sheet here. All right. The Energy and Environment Committee met on December 30th to discuss the Center County Action Plan, our Climate Action Plan, and it's intended to provide a roadmap for the county and its partners to follow to reach the county's clean water goals. The initiatives outlined in the plan are intended to protect the future of the Center County's natural resources while reaching other community goals. And local improvements will benefit the community while also assisting Pennsylvania with meeting its Chesapeake Bay obligations. Based on the committee's review of the deadline of January 15th for the boroughs to respond with comments, and as the chairman of the committee, I would like to make a motion to forward the following comments to the county. Number one, acknowledge those communities such as the Center Region and Bellefonte Borough that have developed a climate action plan. Two, Bellefonte Borough would like to see their climate action plan integrated with the Center Region's action plan so that we can work together towards a common goal. Three, we would like to encourage the county plan to reflect the county's commitment to integrate with other planning activities by requesting environmental commissions, associations within the county to join as members of the county planning process. This could include Spring Creek Watershed Commission, the Bald Eagle Water Commission, and others as appropriate. And the borough would like to see the plan reflect in some capacity that the county will provide assistance to municipalities
for example, to create ordinances, etc., related to stormwater runoff. Specifically, there may be additional community municipalities that may be required to follow MS4 guidelines based on the outcome of the 2020 census. These communities will need assistance in coming up with up to speed for stormwater runoff planning and mitigation. 5, where the Bellefonte Authority is listed as a partner, please add and the Bellefonte Borough. 6, we didn't find the document to be particularly user-friendly. We'd like to see, number 7, we'd like to see the county, if possible, identify potential costs to the municipalities so that we can incorporate these costs into our budgets as needed. 8, we would like to see what you're requesting the borough to do in section 2.2 on page 30 of your document. Your outline includes us providing a staff member and funding to make this platform come to fruition. We understand that this item relates to stormwater runoff issues associated with MS4 designation. We are currently listed as a non-MS4 community that would also be involved, but we don't understand what this plan item refers to or how it relates to Bellefonte. So please clarify. And number 9 is 2019, the Spring Creek Watershed Commission met with Commissioner Pipe regarding how to best integrate the two entities. At that time, we discussed the possibility of having the county send a representative to the commission meetings as a non-voting member. We understood that a voting member might cause a conflict of interest. This needs to be followed up and considered by the county. Notwithstanding these comments, Bellefonte Borough also would like to provide a special thank you to the county for the following CAP initiatives. 1, acknowledging increasing pervious surfaces and appreciates that they are willing to provide funding for these efforts. Number 2, we are also appreciative of the proposed county guide water credit program and potential for funding. And 3, finally, we would like to add our support for efforts to include information related to riparian buffers. Quite a mouthful. That's my resolution.
So we have a second. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Clayton, okay. Discussion? Yes, Randy?
With this being county driven, I'm assuming,
Yes.
why do we need to tie ourselves with Center Region? They have their plan, we have our plan. Why do we need to, if we're doing this as a countywide program, why do we need to get involved with other municipalities?
What the committee was basically saying was that the Center Region has their own climate action plan. We have their climate action plan. They mentioned State College in the plan, but they didn't mention us. We just want the same recognition.
So it's recognition.
Yeah, and if they're going to have State College participating in the planning, then we also want to have that same ability. That's all it's saying.
We'd also like some
Go ahead.
access to funding.
Yes.
Could you read
I
that
haven't seen
again?
funding for anything for any of these programs yet, so that's still laying out there somewhere.
True.
Other comments? Questions?
Can you put it in bold to comment about the plan not being very readable?
Oh, I'll make note of that.
But and maybe you put some italics on it, or something. Bold
Yeah.
italics with quotation marks.
that's something you can do, Ralph, is saying that it was really hard to read.
I'll do my best.
And maybe move that comment to somewhere else instead of in the middle of the actual doable things.
Okay.
How about like right up at the top?
Number one.
All right.
Any other comments? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? So moved. Okay, keep going, Mike.
Well, we have a doodle out for another meeting, but it hasn't been finalized yet.
Okay,
The doodle went out today, so if you get an opportunity, please look at it tomorrow and make sure to put your times and dates in. Then we'll try to get the meeting scheduled ASAP.
okay.
Oh, there was one other thing. We were, Bellefonte was mentioned in an Allegheny Front report that was aired December 18th. So
And again, also on January 1st, it was repeated.
I didn't see the repeat. And that's all I have.
Yes, Ralph?
Just a reminder, probably back in early December, we set up a meeting or like a webinar type of thing with APPI. The time of that is Tuesday, January 12th. I think it's 1:30. I'll double check that, but I'm going to send out the link and all the details to you, and hopefully the committee can join in. And they're going to discuss what they can do about solar energy and some other options that we might have with other, like purchasing of natural gas and that kind of thing.
1:30, Ralph. You're
1:30.
correct.
Thank you.
Anything else? Seeing none, I guess we'll move on to Office of Community Affairs.
All right. There's nothing under the zoning or planning area for this meeting. Under the Historical Architectural Review Board Certificates of Appropriateness, we have one item. It's for signage at the Diamond Deli or 103 North Allegheny Street.
So we'll need a motion for a certificate of appropriateness to remove the awning and replace it with two signs. One on the front wall where the awning is now located, and one two-sided bladed sign next to the right of the entrance windows.
I'll make that motion.
And when it's raining. Just kidding.
I'll make that motion, Brackville.
Right, Bill?
I'll second it.
Prendergast. Okay. Discussion?
I want to mention that this signage was made possible because of a grant given to DBI and then passed through to a local merchant.
Very nice sign.
Mm-hmm.
Would be a real nice difference there.
Yes.
It was nice of DBI to do that.
I'm impressed. Let me put it this way. It looks really, really nice. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So moved.
As noted here, we're going to be trying to fill the nuisance or property code nuisance officer position as soon as we can. Actually, the person that's not going to be with us is offering to stay on till we get somebody. So if you know of a problem sidewalk area or something like that, let me know. But we're going to try to have things covered until we have somebody in place. And then lastly, usually the second meeting of the month, we have the reports type of meeting. So we expect to have one from our animal enforcement officer. That report, I think ideally will be combined with the police reports. We'll just put it there with the chief's report.
The one we had last month was quite good.
Yes.
from the parking enforcement officer.
Yes, they're doing an excellent job.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions for Ralph? Seeing none, are there any special committee reports from anybody?
I have one. I had sent a note out, I think back on the 9th, I submitted an annual report for Civil Service Committee, the Commission, and I didn't see it in our last meeting's packet, and it didn't make this one. I sent a reminder out. I'm assuming that goes to council as well.
It can,
Okay. Well, that might be why I didn't see it, but I just wanted to make sure that, when you read the guidelines, that's a requirement, and that it did come out.
Okay, I'll look for it, Randy, and we'll find and put it in for the next meeting.
If you can't find it, let me know and I'll send it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for that update, Randy. Any other special committee reports? Okay, seeing none. Moving on to old business. This may be the second longest one of the evening. We have 3 reappointments to do, and so I need a motion for all 3 of them. The first one is for the Civil Service Commission, a 6-year term for Dave Provan to expire on December 31st, 2026. The second one is a Shade Tree Commission, 5-year term ending on 12/31/2025. Both of these are for full approval. And then the third one is for Megan Tooker for a 3-year term ending on 12/31/2023. And that's a conditional approval pending her volunteer application like we did at the last meeting.
I'll make that motion.
A second, correct, Bill?
Prendergast and Brackbill. Discussion?
Would I be able to add another name, an applicant? One came in the mail, or it was on my desk when I came in this morning. It's Lanny King, and he's asking to be reappointed to the Zoning Hearing Board. I believe those are 5-year terms.
Did he fill out the application?
Yes, that's what he
Okay.
sent in.
And is it, let me ask you this question. Is it the current one or did he do the old one? The current one has the nepotism policy. The old one did not.
This one hasn't. He lists no relatives. No, he's not
Okay.
related to anybody.
Yeah, so we can add him, and that would be a 5-year term ending on 12/31/2025.
Thank you.
You have to amend that or anything?
I'll accept it. We can
well-
accept it, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah. Discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? So moved. Okay. And we have updates on the 3 conditional approvals that we did at the December 21st meeting. All 3 of them completed their volunteer applications, so they have met the conditions for approval, and that's Buddy Haldeman for the Bellefonte Area Industrial Development Authority, Greg Brown for the Water Authority, and James Mills for the Planning Commission. The vacancies we still have, and we would like the public, if you're interested, in contact Ralph or Don. They can give you more information. There's also some information on the website at bellefonte.net. There's the HARB interim term expiring on 12/31/2023 for someone with architectural historical preservation certification. A housing appeals board, there are currently 2 vacancies, both expiring in 2024. And then there are 2 alternate seats. One's on the Civil Service Commission expiring in 2026, and the other's on the Zoning Hearing Board expiring on 2021. That's everything that we need to fill, and we still don't have any volunteers yet. And we would love the public. If you're interested in getting involved with the community, this is a great way to do that. So if you're interested, please contact Ralph or Don, and then check out the application. Questions? Seeing none, moving on to new business.
The first item we have is just a note that the Susquehanna River Basin Commission has a draft comprehensive plan. They're looking for public comment or accepting public comment through February 19th of this year. And the plan, there's a website in the memo that they sent. I guess we could post that memo on our website, but all of you as council members have that. If you want to collectively put in a public comment, we can draft something up for you if you want to discuss it or add a couple minutes to a work session or something like that.
I think we could refer that to the Environment Sustainability Committee, since this will be the third one in 3 months that we're on the same basic topic. I think we're getting into a routine with this one now.
Okay, that's fine. We'll add that to the agenda.
And then if we
Except
also,
this one is readable, Joanne.
I haven't seen it yet. It just came in. I hope it is.
No, I read it. It's very readable. It's an excellent document.
Okay. The other thing is that they're also offering us the possibility, and this is for the public as well, if you want to make oral public comments, that date is February 4th.
Right.
So the committee, if we want to do that, we can discuss that possibility as well.
I encourage the public to read it. It's a very educational and informative document for the whole Susquehanna River basin. It really shows you what they do. Pardon me?
You lost me.
Your internet went out for a second.
No. You're all right.
Oh,
It was the educational part that just went right over my head.
oh no. There's a whole bunch of background documents. They have the background documents and everything. It's very good. It's very good on that website.
So let me ask one question related to this. We have the tentative meeting that we're setting up with the energy management. Can this be tagged on, or are we going to have to set up another meeting for this?
I was hoping to tag it on, but whatever.
I'm happy to do that.
I see no problem with it.
Okay. Okay. Next item.
Next item is community development block grant agreements. I'll leave Dawn speak to that.
There's 2 agreements in your packet that we need motions for approval of. This is the CDBG COVID money that the borough is receiving, approximately $66,000. $6,000 of the admin fee goes to CEDACOG. And as you can see in the subrecipient agreements, they are one of the subrecipients will be Center Help. They are going to administer the intake part of the program, and they will also take $180 of the fee out of program income per family. Currently, I think they're estimating approximately 50 families being able to apply. So under that scenario, there would be approximately $50,974 to distribute to Bellefonte Borough residents that need assistance of up to 3 months for rent or utilities due to COVID. There'll be more information coming out. There'll be a program or some advertisements coming out from both Center Help and CEDACOG as this program ramps up for the people in the borough that need to know where to go to apply for the funding. But as far as where we are right now, we need to execute the 2 subrecipient agreements, one between Bellefonte Borough and Center County government. The second subrecipient agreement is between Bellefonte Borough and Center Helps. I would just recommend if we could get a motion to approve both of those, then Joanne and Ralph can sign and we can forward those on.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Eaton and Clayton. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So moved.
Next item is just we have a note about, 2021 being a municipal election year, I know there's some, every other year we have this. And there, of course, there will be some seats that are coming up for reelection. Do you want to go down through those, Joanne, or do you?
Sure, I can do that. 'Cause every 2 years, like Ralph said, we hold elections for about half of council. And we just wanted to let the public know that which seats will be having races this year. There are 2 seats in the West Ward, 2 seats in the North Ward, 1 seat in the South Ward, and the mayor's seat. So all of these will be open for election this year. Some people are running, some people may or may not, but this is just wanting to let the public know that this is what we will be voting on come the primary and the general election this fall.
Thank you.
Anything else? Seeing any other public comments? I don't see anybody on that would be making any. In that case, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Rockville.
Seconded.
Brackbill and Prendergast? Seeing no objection, we are adjourned at 8:40 p.m., which I think is the earliest we've had in a couple of years.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.